Well, good morning, guys. Welcome back to Papaw's Place. As always, if this is your first time here, thanks for dropping in. Feel free to drop in anytime you feel, my friend. Guys, this morning I got a new little gadget. Y'all know how I am about gadget and tools. I love tools. Well, I got this little laser level. I got a project that I'm going to be doing when I get time. But this little thing right here, I've been watching them use them on other videos and stuff and how great they are. This one right here that I went with is the CiGMAN. Again, maybe pronouncing that wrong. CiGMAN. C-I-G-M-A-N. Laser level CM-701. Now this one here, it comes with the little tripod mount here in case you set it on the floor. It also has the little target here because it don't work. This ain't made to work outside in the bright sunlight. But if you got too bright a light, see, I can use this if I wanted to get my line, especially for carpenters, remodelers and stuff like this, people putting down floors, ceiling tiles, ceilings. I wish we'd have had this back in the day when I worked with Dad when I was young, putting up them old drop ceilings in them schools. You could have used this. I don't know if y'all can see that green line right there. It's got horizontal. You can click it to vertical lines where it's shooting a line out both sides on the wall, across the ceiling, across the floor. Or you can just do horizontal, or you can just do vertical. But also you could use this for elevation markings, and like I said, use your target to find your lines once you get your elevation set. This little thing is set up and you can mount it on a tripod. Actually the same kind of tripod that camera's sitting on looking at me right now. Also, it has a little mount here that's magnet. Like if you putting up metal sheds or you working in your shed, building a shed, it'll stick to the metal purlins. The little laser will mount right on here. So yeah, I was just charged it up last night and had it out. Checking it out this morning. You got your instructions books and it's rechargeable. You can recharge it by plugging this little cable into it and use your little port that you plug your phone cables into. And it's got a remote control. So if you're working and you're on a ladder and stuff and you want your horizontal turned off or your vertical turned off, the little remote control here does it. I'm going to turn the lights off in the shed so y'all can see these green lines on the wall. Now I didn't have to turn the lights off to see it myself, but I just want to make sure y'all could see the lines. Horizontal lines, vertical lines. I'm turning them on and off with the remote control here. So yes, there's all kinds of uses for one of these little laser levels. Now like I said, I just got this one, so I ain't got to use it. I got a project coming up. Hopefully I get around to doing it this summer. But I know when I put new flooring throughout our house, I'd have loved to have had this. And anytime you putting up ceiling tile, even tile in your bathrooms or anything, you can set this up and have your level line. Because it's self-leveling. That's another thing I forgot to mention. Once you turn it on, it's self-leveling. And I checked that last night with a hand level. I had this set up on the kitchen counter in there, and I took my hand level and checked my lines to see if it leveled, and sure enough, guys, it's self-leveling. It leveled itself right up. So if you're interested in one of these, now I'll put the link in the description below my video, like I do everything I use that I think's worthwhile. It'll be a link in the description below this video. So I'm going to put this back up and we're going to move on to some other tips and tricks I want to show y'all today. Now again, it's one of these old rainy days, which we've been having a bunch of. You got to turn that just right to get it in there. It's kind of like putting one of them, y'all remember the kids' toys, which they still got for little bitty kids, the different shapes, stars, squares, ovals and stuff they putting in them holes, and it goes inside the ball. It's kind of like trying to get this back in there. Once you get it turned just right, it drops right in place. And they got it in a good thick padded case here for you contractors and construction workers hauling it around. But again, this ain't for outside use, this is for inside use. It ain't got enough light, the lasers you can't see out in the sunlight. This is made for inside projects. So, I'm going to set this right over here out of the way and hope I use that one day. Another tip and trick I want to show y'all. I found this Ryobi 18 volt 4 amp hour battery laying in the middle of the highway last year, and I stopped and picked it up. Well, of course I ain't got nothing with Ryobi or no way to charge this battery. Well, when I come in, I took my handy dandy little tester here and I tested this battery and it was fully charged. It was showing 18 volts. So I've been using this battery since last summer in Colton's little ride-on Jeep. That one right there. So I come up with me a way to charge batteries when you ain't got chargers. Now of course I had to come up with my redneck engineering to fasten 2 wires here to hook it on that Jeep, one on negative, one on positive. And I got it in there and I put me a little screw right at the top. And I got black tape around it so it can't come off. And these 2 little screws sticking out the top, I can test this battery. But to charge any battery up to, well, you can do it on a 24 volt, it just ain't going to charge it all the way to 24 volts. You can take, if you had an old computer and didn't throw the cord in the little charging box, where it converts it from 120 electricity down to a DC power. And then when you see these with these little boxes on them, that's what charges your batteries that's in your computers. With this one here, I charge up to 19, let me plug it back up. Almost all your little laptop computers are charged to 19, this one says 19.30 volts. And you can hook it to any battery like this. Like I said, it don't matter if it's saying 20 volt, 24 volt. And even this is saying 18, 19 volts ain't gonna overcharge it and hurt this battery. Because they got a window there. Allowance on each side, above or below. But I just thought that's a trick some of you may not know, that you can take an old, when you have a computer and it goes bad, or you see somebody throwing away a laptop, yank that cord and that charging box off of it, and you can always charge your batteries no matter which one. Like I said, now it only charges up to 19 volts. Even if this was a 20, which charge this one's all the way because it's an 18 volt battery. So it charges this one all the way up. So I just thought y'all might like that little tip. I'm going to unplug it right here and show y'all. I left it on here all night long. I'm going to try to hold this battery up so y'all can read it, in case some of you skeptical of what I'm saying here. I left this on there all night, but I'm going to have to leave it on there longer. Now that's one thing, it don't charge as fast as your batteries. Right now it's only up to 14 volts. But I leave this on here all day today and it'll be charged up to its full 18 volts. So again, it ain't gonna quick charge your batteries like the chargers that come with power tools. But you can charge batteries, especially if you come across a battery like this and I didn't have a charger for it. It works. Once it gets fully charged, I put it back in the little Jeep. And when coaching comes, his little Jeep be ready to go again. And actually, that 18-volt Ryobi battery runs that Jeep. I'm calling it a Jeep. That's a side-by-side. I'm sorry. We done got rid of the Jeep. That's the little side-by-side. It'll run that little side-by-side just as long as the little battery that came in it. Tip number 2 for today's video. If you have weed eater string and you got, like me, I buy big rolls. And I got a different kind here I just tried. And guys, I've tried different kinds of weed eater strings, just testing them out. But one of the best weed eater strings I've come across for the price is just this Oregon string. It's .095. But as you know, you buy a big roll of weed eater string, it can last you for years and years, especially if you're just a homeowner. Well, if you got this in your shed and you put it in your weed eater this year and you go out there and it's like you're steady having to feed it because it's breaking off real easy. Don't throw old weed eater string away. All you gotta do this is just a bucket with water in it. Get you a bucket, put you some water in it, set that weed eater string down in there. Now, I ain't got no brick in here, but I'm going to get one. Put something on it that'll hold it under this water and leave it in this water 24 hours. Sometimes mine will sit in here a week if I forget about it. But every year I do this before I start up my mowing. Yes, you would think that weed eater string, being made of whatever it is, some type of plastics, wouldn't absorb water. You would think that, but I'm telling you, if you'll do this, it softens that string back up and it's just as good as it was when you bought it. Now, I didn't know that for many years, and I would get aggravated and go buy a new roll, which back then I was only doing my own yard, so I'd buy little rolls. But you put that in water. Now, I've seen some people say they like to put a little soap, a few drops of like dishwashing soap in their water when they do this, but I don't agree with that. Let me tell you why I don't agree with it without trying to prove what strings are made of. But weed eater strings, that is some type of plastic, polymers, or whatever, which is made of some type of oils, crude, petroleum, stuff like that. So to me, if you put some type of, say, Dawn dishwashing detergent in here, which cuts grease away, to me, I think that would, guys, my light went out up there. But to me, putting Dawn soap in here, it cuts grease out of the way. I don't know how this works, but water will rejuvenate this line, and I just think if you put soap in it, you might be cutting some of the oils that's in this string out. So I just use plain water. So if you got some old weed eater string that's brittle, and when you go to use it, it's just steady breaking off, and you steady having to feed, and you don't go half your yard and you done used the whole line up, you like, well, something ain't right, just put it in some water and soak it and save your line. Don't go buy no more. So that's a tip that'll save you frustration, time, and money. I'm gonna set these over here, and like I said, it's raining right now, so before I get geared up to go back to mowing, then I get them out. So mine might sit in here 3 or 4 days. It ain't gonna hurt it to sit in here longer. So guys, that's just a little look, couple tips I want to throw y'all on a short little video here. But we're gonna go in here. This video ain't gonna end right now. I think I'm gonna show y'all a little something I cooked up for supper. So y'all stay with me. Guys, tonight we're gonna be cooking us up some venison stir fry. So I got some venison steak here that I stripped up already in the small strips. And if you like venison, but you can't get that wild taste out of it, I'm finna give you a tip here that I do. I stripped this venison up and I put it in a bowl about yay size. And I put like 1 teaspoon of apple cider vinegar, about a half a teaspoon of baking soda, and about a half a teaspoon of salt. Now that's after I wash it and make sure all your blood's out, and then put it in there, stick it in the ice box for about 30 minutes to an hour, and then take it back out before you want to cook it and rinse it off real good several times. And of course, doing this, you want to kind of get it dry. You don't want to go in with wet meat. We got Brussels sprouts already cut up. I got some mushrooms, some carrots, bell pepper, and onions chopped up. We're going to be using hoisin salts. I guess that's how you pronounce that. Hoisin. Hoisin. Some of y'all know more about that than I do. And some mushroom oyster sauce. And that's all we're going to be using. And a little bit of oil, and I'm using canola oil. Now I done put this up in there and I'm bringing it up because I wanted to get up the heat. First, this is going to be pretty quick. I'm going to go in with the meat. And I'm going to go in with the onions and bell peppers. And I'm going to go in with the carrots. And then I'll wait just a little bit before I go in with the asparagus and the mushrooms. But right off the bat, this is going to be quick because it's going to actually take as long to cook down the onions and peppers and the carrots as it does the meat. Because venison is like steak. You don't want to overcook it. And then we use our mushroom sauce and our hoisin salts here to season it up the way we want. But let me check it here and see what it sounds like. Oh yeah, I'm gonna get y'all over here so y'all can see down in the pot. Not sure how good y'all can see, but here we go. One of these days, I'm going to get me a stainless steel wok. This pan right here works pretty good. But it sticks just a little bit in here. I made the fatal mistake. I was supposed to warm the pan up before I put my oil in there, and I messed up and poured my oil in there before the pan warmed up. Now we're going in with the bell peppers and the onions. That cooled it back down, because like I said, you don't want to cook your venisons like steak. You don't want to have it cooked to death. I'll let that kind of stir around in there until it starts coming back up to heat, like the bell peppers and onions cooled it way down. But it's still a frying a little. I'm going to go on and go in with the carrots. And then we're going to hold off, cook this down a little bit before we go in with our mushrooms and our asparagus. We like our asparagus to have still have a little crunch to it. We don't want it all mushed. And in case you ain't ever cooked with mushroom oyster sauce or just oyster sauce, that's more of where your flavors on your salty side comes in. Then your hoisin, I ain't saying that right, hoisin sauce has a little flavor, but it's more toward your sweeter side. And the good thing about cooking with it, if you put a little bit too much of one and you don't like it, you can add just a little bit of the other one to make up for it. Some dishes you can use some light soy sauce. We kind of like the flavor without the soy sauce. Usually my wife, we're going to do a video one night of me cooking the stir fry like this and her doing the fried rice, because she uses the soy sauce in her fried rice, and I just use this in what I do, and then when you eat them together, it all just makes for a great meal. Now the carrots was frozen carrots from out of my garden. We still eating them from 3 years ago when I raised so many and cut them up and flash froze them and put them in bags. I like using fresh vegetables and stuff stir frying, but them froze. At least we had an onion and pepper she had actually bought, or I'd have been having to use frozen onions and frozen peppers. This year I'm going to do some dehydrating and dehydrate me up a bunch of peppers, because half of these mushrooms right here, guys, is dehydrated mushrooms. And I bought them and started cooking with them, and they work great. I just put them in a bowl and let them hydrate back, and then drain them off and dry them before I throw them in here to cook. It's done cooked down enough, kind of cooking some of that liquid away. So some of that was, like I said, was water off the carrots. It wasn't drained good from them being froze. So now we're going to go in with the mushrooms. Let them cook just a minute. We're going in with the asparagus. Now, I planted asparagus 4 years ago. And this year is the first year we started eating off of it. And it's starting to sprout up. But guys, it's amazing. You go out there today and it'd be, look, asparagus sprouts that long. If you don't get them today, they're 18 inches long. If you don't get them then, you ain't gonna get them. Last year we was gonna start eating off some of them. Then we had that late freeze, and it knocked them down. So when I started coming back again, I didn't want to eat them. I wanted to let them go on and have another year to get established. But that fresh asparagus out of a garden, this is mine and my wife's first time. Our family's gardened all their lives but never grew no asparagus. But it's just like everything else. It's so much better straight out of that garden than that bought from the grocery store. Actually, asparagus and cabbage, to me, is so much better than buying from a grocery store. Well, and tomatoes, but I guess tomatoes, asparagus, and cabbage, them three just really amazingly how different it is fresh out of the garden. Now we're going to go in with a little of our mushroom sauce. You don't want to overdo it, so you can overpower it. It's kind of like, the reason I like cooking like this, because you can cook this up and then taste it and then decide if you need to add a little more. But what I love about these two sauces is you don't need salt and pepper or no seasoning. You get your saltiness and your sweetness, and I guess if you want it a little hotter, you could add you some type of hotter peppers, or either put you some pepper flakes in it. And you can do this same dish with chicken. Strip up. You can get like little pork chops or pork loin. Strip it up thin. You can use your broccoli, your cauliflower, snow peas, whatever you like. You can do this and make a different dish every night. Alright, now that flavor's cooked in there, we're going to go in with those little toasting sauce. Keep stirring, let it cook. I hope my camera ain't getting fogged up. That steam coming up through there, it may be fogging the camera. Y'all may not be able to see. At this point, basically test your asparagus and get it to the stage you like it, and it's done. Still a little too crunchy. And I'm going to check a piece of meat. I think I'm going to go in with just a little bit more oyster sauce. You can buy steak meat and strip up and do this. We're almost there, guys. All I know is it's smelling good. Let me check one. I think it's good enough. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. My Asian cousin will be proud of me here. Look at that right there, guys. Is that not beautiful? That's how easy and quick it is to cook you up a good meal. The one I ain't mastered yet that I want to get down is how to make that orange chicken, because I love the orange chicken. But I'm going to get it one day. But that's it. That's what's for supper. How would y'all like to have a little bite? Can't y'all just smell that through the camera? Wish every one of you could stop by and have a bite. Well, maybe not every one of you at one time. It ain't that much in here. So how was your day?
My day was good, very busy.
Very busy.
Well,
I didn't wait on you. I didn't eat. That is deer meat and asparagus stir fry.
that's good. Is that the same seasoning you always do?
Yep. Yep, that is the mushroom oyster sauce and how you say it? Hosting sauce.
That's good.
You can have to fix your plate, doesn't he?
Okay. I'll do it.